I'm only 24, but these are things that I really wish I knew when I was younger, because had I known them, I would have progressively grown a lot quicker. I'd be a lot further along. And to a degree, a lot of these things are things that I carry with me all the years of my life to this day, moving forward, every single day. In the first one, in the early stages, passion just doesn't matter. When I was younger, I thought that what I had to do was something that I was passionate about, right? I had to follow my passion. And in those stages, it doesn't matter because you don't have the resources to just pursue your passion. If in the case that you do, great. But for the most part, a lot of people don't have the luxury of pursuing their passion in the early stages. What happens is in the early stages, they trade time for money. Then they pick up a skill. They keep trading time for money, but now they have a lever, so they get more for their time. Then they stack up resources to buy back time. And then with that time they have, they do something they're passionate about. And they do it in a way that's so good to where they continue to make a profit and they get a return. All right. So, but in the early stages, passion doesn't freaking matter unless you have that luxury. What you have to do is the work that no one else wants to do. And you have to do the work that you don't want to do. I was at a gym scrubbing toilets, selling. I was working for somebody. I, I was with a startup business and I was working for someone I knew. I was on payroll. I was suffering for somebody. I was following their commands, doing their rules, or abiding by their rules. And I wasn't passionate about that. When I was selling nail products, I wasn't passionate about that. When I was scrubbing toilets, I wasn't passionate about picking up bloody tampons. But I just knew that had to be done in the early stages because those were the building phases. And that has to be done. You have to just get rid of passion until you buy back time and you have a lot of resources to where you can pursue your passion and you get so good at your passion that you can share it with the world and somehow get a return. Number two, you have to use what you have. In the hardest moments of my journey, I always had a house I could return home to, a couch to sleep on, a bed to sleep on, a roof over my head. I knew that I would be okay. I wouldn't be on the street homeless. And I had to use that. I had tattoos. I had to use this. I created a persona. I had a deep voice. I incorporated that into my persona. I had to use everything I had. I could talk a lot. I had to use that. I knew how to sell. I had to use that. Whatever I had at the moment at my disposal, skills, how I look, resources, I had to use everything I had because I didn't have much. And I definitely didn't have money. So whatever I had, I used it. If I knew how to sell, that's when I started selling nail products. And I got more for my time. I got a bigger return on my time. I was able to take risks because I knew that no matter what, I can always call someone to sleep on their couch, or I can call my mom and say, "Hey, I failed. Can I just live with you?" I always had to use what I had because sometimes that's all we have. We have things at our disposal. We have things at our disposal, and it's meant for us to use, not meant for us to avoid. Three, as long as you can keep living, that's really all that matters. And I have this beautiful framework, which is, let's say you have no money right now. Okay. I'll present you two options. Would you rather not have money or die tomorrow? Some people would just say, I'd rather not have money. Right? If you're out of shape, would I say, would you rather be out of shape or would you die tomorrow? They'll say, well, I'd rather be out of shape. On the off chance that you would choose die tomorrow, it means you really got to fix your problems. Because I've been there. There were moments where I went to sleep and sometimes I just would have preferred not waking up the next day. But in hindsight, and we always connect the dots backwards, I would have chose the other option as opposed to dying tomorrow. And if you can ask yourself a question, whatever you're going through right now, would ask yourself, would I rather go through what I'm going through now or die tomorrow? If you choose go through what you're going through and you'd rather not die tomorrow, that tells you that no matter what happens in life, no matter what you're going through, as long as you can keep breathing, that's truly what matters. And it's a framework that I really use. It's a decision-making framework, and it kind of snaps me back in order because there are moments where I'm like, well, damn, why am I in this position? Well, it's better than dying tomorrow. Okay? Four, you have nothing but time. Use it. You can literally make mistakes for the next 5 years and you'll be okay. You have time. I truly believe that everyone can become extremely successful and wealthy on a long enough time frame. Some people just give up a little bit too soon and they can't see it through, but everyone can. We have time. So just do it. If you fail, so what? You have time to build yourself back up and you gain valuable lessons. And you didn't waste time because you learned something. So you've invested time for a return. And the return was knowledge and wisdom that will help you on your next venture, on your next journey, on your next path. We never waste time. The only time we waste time is if we couldn't pull something from an experience. If you can't pull something from an experience, okay, then I would argue, yes, it may have been time wasted. But for the most part, if you're able to pull something, a valuable lesson, obtain some type of wisdom, you haven't wasted time. And if in the case that you don't have time and you're gonna die soon, then it doesn't matter anyways. You're gone, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter. So let's just go with the notion that we have time, man. I was having a conversation a couple years back when I was scrubbing toilets with someone outside the gym. And this is where I got introduced to this framework. I told him, I'm like, man, tomorrow's never promised. He's like, I bet you it is. And I'm like, yeah, but we never know. And he told me, he's like, how about this, man? Every day we're going to meet here. We're going to bet $20. I'll bet that you wake up tomorrow. You bet that you don't wake up tomorrow. Winner takes it. And we keep doing that every day. Let's see who changes their mind first. And I never forgot about that moment. I said, wow. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I do have time. So I've taken that approach with life. Like, yeah, I do have tomorrow. Doesn't mean I'm lazy and I just don't do what I have to do, but it gives me confidence and reassurance that no matter what happens, I have time. And again, if in the case I don't and I'm dead soon, hey, it doesn't matter anyways. I'm gone. 5, you will always get a return from being of service to somebody. Every time where I've had nothing and I've just decided to help, I've saw some type of return, 2x or 3x. I don't know how, I don't know why, I just did. Every single time. Every single time I was just of service and I helped, something in the great cosmos just rewarded me. I don't know why that works, but that's just how it is. When you are of service, when you add to the body of knowledge and you add to the body of hope, it gives you abundance. I don't know why, but every single time. For Thanksgiving, we fed families. And I probably spent a total of, I'd say 8 to 10,000 for everything, for all the food, for the documentary and everything. I made that back times 2 somehow, some way. I don't know how. I just did. Almost 3x. I don't know how, but I did. It just happened. So be of service and you'll just see that you get a return. 6, go to sleep and wake up on time at the same time. There was a study done, and I believe I heard it from Andrew Huberman, where let's say one person gets 8 hours of sleep, but he goes to sleep at 12 one night and goes to sleep at 8 the other night and goes to sleep at 2 one night, but he gets a full 8 hours. That is not as productive or beneficial as someone that may get 6 hours of sleep, but they go to sleep at 10, wake up at 4, at 10, wake up at 4 every time. So that shows that a consistent sleep routine is better for longevity as opposed to this screwed up circadian rhythm where I'll sleep at this time. The next day it's all messed up. It's messed up. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how much sleep you get. It does to a degree, but what matters is the routine of sleep, because it gives, I guess it resets your biological clock to where you have a circadian rhythm where you naturally get tired at a certain time, man. Your body just jumps up at a certain time. And I can speak from experience. In the military, it was sleep at this time, wake up at this time. I would be in bed, sleep at 9, I'd wake up at 4 every time. And I felt my best during those days. And about a year and a half ago, during the difficult moments where I was trying to build myself, my sleep was all over the place. And I felt terrible. I felt drained. I had no energy. I got sloppy. I got lazy. So create a consistent sleep schedule, very consistent, and like double down on it. If you say you're going to sleep at 9, sleep at 9. If you say you're going to wake up at 4, wake up at 4. Do that long enough and you'll just see how naturally your body just adapts to it and you get into a routine and you just go. 7, you are the biggest asset that you can possibly invest in. Not crypto, not the S&P, no Fortune 500 company, not Amazon, not Tesla, not Meta, not Bitcoin, not even real estate, yourself. Invest time and energy into yourself. Use money to obtain wisdom. There are masterminds, there are books, and truly invest in yourself. Grow mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. There are 4 areas. Mentally, become more knowledgeable, become intuitive, understand yourself. Emotionally, understand the inner workings of your mind to where you know why you behave a certain way. Create skills and change your behaviors. Physically, get in immaculate shape. Use your body to its fullest potential. Lift weights. Go running. Jump. And then spiritually, connect. Feel a deep connection with something out here because it's out there. There are 4 areas to grow. Invest in yourself. And you will be the reason why you get such a great return. Not the S&P, but it's you. It's the habits that you build, the behaviors that you adopt. It's always going to be you. 8. Knowledge is meant to be used. Stop learning if you don't take action. I believe that for the past year, I've listened to the same 3 podcasts over and over and over and over and over again. And it's because I got to a point where I just did not need to keep consuming. I didn't need to read more books. I did not need to read more videos because I wasn't doing the things that was in the book or in the podcast I just listened to. And so for the past year, I believe I've been listening to the same 3 to 6 podcasts in rotation over and over again until I execute and fully adopt everything I want to adopt in those videos. Fully. So I study podcasts. I study books. I don't just read them. I don't just listen. I study and I implement. Knowledge is meant to be used. So remember that if you're not taking action, then you probably need to just stop learning and take action on what you already know. Because sometimes we learn something, but we don't do anything with whatever it is that we just learned. All that knowledge we obtain, we're doing nothing. 9. If you're faced with a difficult decision, do whatever 90-year-old you would do. That's the best decision-making framework that I've adopted from Alex Hormozy, and I love it so much. Sometimes I think certain things matter. Sometimes I think other things matter, and I don't know what decision to make. I just ask myself, what would 90-year-old me do? So if I'm faced with a decision, oh my gosh, do I go see family so that I don't bear the ridicule and the judgment and the resentment, or do I just focus on myself? 90-year-old me tells me, who cares about what people think? You have one life. Live it for you. Live. It's yours. Do it. Do whatever you want to do. Don't do it for them. You're going to regret it. Do it for you. And that really helps me make decisions. So do whatever 90-year-old you would do. 10. You don't owe anything to anybody at all. You owe it to yourself to become the best version of yourself so that you can give yourself to the world, but you don't owe anything to anybody. And I know it sounds selfish and crazy, but just because someone's helped you in the past doesn't mean you have to help them back. And I'm not saying don't help them. I'm big on helping. But sometimes you have to draw the line and say, if I help you right now, it would cost me a lot, and I just can't take that. I'm not telling you to be selfish. I'm not telling you to turn your back from the world and be arrogant and self-centered and never look out for people, but I'm saying you don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe anyone a helping hand. You can, but you don't owe it to them. I'm saying if out of the kindness of your own heart, if you want to, you can. But don't feel like you're obligated to do those things. Like give someone your time, give someone this. You don't have to at all. Sometimes all you have to do is say no. You don't need to finish that sentence. No is a complete sentence. Just say no. You don't need to explain why. Say no. 11. The real test comes when you are about to give up. That is the real test. Moments where you're on your knees, you're about to fall, you're about to break, and you don't know what to do, and you're about to just call it quits. That is the test. Because it's the moment where you're seriously about to give up. To pass the test, all you have to do is not give up. Remember that that's the true test. Moments where you are truly about to call it. Like, I'm done. I give up. Remember that you are being tested. That exact moment, you are faced with 2 decisions. Keep going or call it. It is a test, and that is the true test. And usually if you make the decision to keep going, you will see a return soon. That is the final test to a degree. Moments where you are about to stop, but you don't. Just wait a few more months and you will see something miraculous happen. I, I'm telling you because that's what happened to me. I lived it. 12. Don't lower your standards or dim yourself down for anyone at all. You don't need to. Be you and shine bright. Sometimes you're going to offend others. Sometimes you're going to make people feel inferior. Sometimes you make people trick. Who cares? That's a personal problem that they have to fix. Your job is to just be authentically you. If you walk into a room and you light up the room and you get all the attention, you don't need to dim yourself down because it makes people uncomfortable. That's their problem. You be you. You shine bright and you keep going. 13, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. No one's deserving of an explanation. And you don't owe them an explanation. You just have to say no. There is no need for you to explain, well, it's because of this. No. Just say, I'm okay, bro, thanks. Or, no. Someone invites you to a wedding? Thanks, bro. But I'll pass. Who cares what they think of you? They're not going to get it anyways. They'll still judge you. Whether you show up or you don't, they'll still judge you. 14, treat people how you want the world to treat your children. Imagine you have a child and you wish the world would treat them a certain way. That's how you should treat other people. I would assume that you would want the world to treat your child with kindness. They would be patient and truly care to understand your child. They wouldn't seek to harm your child. They would help your child if your child needs it. They wouldn't do anything to inflict pain, but instead they would uplift your child and help them propel. So treat people that way. 15, you have one name. Protect it at all costs. When I was with the startup, my name became the nail dude who sold nail products, and I hated it. It took a long time for people to get that image out of their heads and see this, just me, someone now that just makes content, right? That just writes and makes content. But I had that image embedded in my head everywhere I went. Hey, bro, you're the nail guy. And I'm like, yep, don't even know my name. You just know I sell nail products. Now, when I get recognized, and I'm not saying I'm famous, but I do get recognized sometimes, people say, hey, you make videos on YouTube. I'm like, yes, you recognize me for this. And to a degree, I can kind of tell what type of person they are based on where they recognize me. Like, if they say, oh, you make TikToks, I'm like, okay, well, you don't know anything about my YouTube. You're probably a short form viewer and you know my TikTok. If they say, oh, I watch YouTube videos, okay, they probably are really deep in because they watch hour-long videos, 30-minute long videos of me talking, right? And so back in the day when I was just selling nail products and people were like, oh, you're the nail guy. I'm like, okay, you probably seen me on TikTok. That's where you saw me from. So you're probably a short form viewer, right? But protect your name at all costs. You only have one. I made mistakes in my life where recovering and reestablishing my reputation and just fixing it and piecing it back together with tape and bandages was really difficult. But I've been able to do so. But sometimes it's tough when you make one mistake. It's really tough to repair it. I mean, people forget, but they'll always see you like that. Similar to how if you change drastically, your friends and family will always see you for a previous version of yourself. The internet's the same way. If you make a mistake, they'll always remember you for the mistake, not all the good that you've done. So you have to cherish that and really protect your name. So when you meet people, when you show yourself on the internet, you really got to protect it at all costs. Show people the best version of you so that they can embed that image into their heads. Okay? 16, you can change at any time. It is never too late. If you are 45, it's not too late. And I know this because my brother's mother, she is 60 something and she is running every day, riding bikes. I think she's about to run a marathon. I don't know. She's extremely healthy. And I've seen like a 70 something, 80-year-old dude run an entire marathon. It's never too late to change. Don't think that you're stuck a certain way. You have time. You are okay. It is never too late. You saying it's too late And you can't change. It's just a way of comforting yourself because you know the amount of effort that it would take to change. And that amount of effort is kind of scary once you acknowledge it. So instead, you just say, well, I can't change. It's too late. It's comforting. Avoid the comfort, enter the discomfort by just saying, I can change. I just have to put in the work and I have nothing but time. It's never too late. 17, don't jump at the first opportunity. Focus. In life, you're going to be on a path where it's meant for you. And usually, when you embark on the path that's meant for you, things will try to pull you away. And they sound so beautiful and promising. Oh my gosh, there's an opportunity to work with this person and work this person. I can start this venture. I can JV with this person. I can do this. I can do this. Oh, this person is in my life. Focus. The more you diversify, the slower it takes to succeed. Until you get to a certain threshold, it's one channel of acquisition, one. Focus, targeted, definitive action and purpose, go. When I was really making consistent content a while back, I got pulled to the barbershop because I'm like, wow, what an opportunity. Of course, yeah, I would love another stream of income. Then I realized something pulled me back to this path. Someone kind of just pulled me back to this path. And I said, wow, I always belonged here. I wish I would have known that back then. I would have been a little bit farther now. I would have been more consistent in the earlier stages, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. But now, as you guys can tell, I'm posting content every day because this is the path. And you just have to stick on the path long enough. Just stay on the path long enough. Which gets me on to my next one, which is 18. Play the long game. It's easier to stick on your path when you can play the long game. Everyone wants a short grab. Everyone wants the instant gratification. They want it now. They want it right away. They can never extend that time horizon. They can't swallow the glass and swallow and eat the frog and just take the pain now. They want it. They want the quick fix. They're like a junkie. Wealth belongs to those who can play the game long, who don't need to see a return for 5-10 years because they know that in 10 years the return will be tenfold, 100-fold, 100x, 1000x. I understand that you may want it quick. You may want to succeed now, $1 million now, but who would you become if $1 million just got planted into your lap if you were 18, 19? Even though you wanted that at 18 or 19, who would you become if that was just handed to you? The beautiful thing about the process and the journey is it builds us to become someone that's deserving of the ask. So if the ask is, I want wealth, the journey teaches us to become someone that's worthy of having that wealth. We have habits now. Our behaviors change. The way we view money, our spending habits. Everything changes to prepare us for that amount of wealth. If you don't have it, it's because you, one, haven't done the work, or two, you're not yet deserving of it, and you haven't done enough. So play the long game, stay on your path for an extended period of time without needing to see an immediate return. And if you can do that for an extended time horizon for 5-10 years, you'll freaking win, guaranteed. 19. Believe what you want to believe, not what people tell you to believe. We have societal norms and culture norms and expectations set upon us by parents, loved ones, friends, best friends, society, the school system. You have to ask yourself, why do I think this way? Why do I act this way? Why do I believe this? Is it because someone taught it to me? This is where we enter reflection. You really have to be definitive and understand why you do what you do, why you believe what you believe. Don't be mindless and just someone says, believe this, and you're like, okay, I'll go with it. No. Really think, well, why? Question it. Don't be afraid to question it. 20. Live a life that makes you feel fulfilled. And again, this goes into my first one, which is passion doesn't matter in the early stages. If in the early stages you're not fulfilled, that's literally normal. You're not supposed to be fulfilled because it's the building phase. You are building yourself to become someone that's better, a better version of yourself. You're scaling, transcending, ascending. You're not supposed to be fulfilled in this stage. It's building, right? I mean, look at a building, for example. We'll actually use a building, a house. In the early stages, it looks weird. There's a bunch of wood everywhere and it just looks empty. Like, this doesn't look like a house. But When the house is complete, it looks gorgeous. You want to walk around, it's gorgeous. You will be fulfilled once you go through the stages of building, trading time for money, the stages of enhancement, obtaining a skill so that you have a lever, so that you get more for your time, and then the stages of mastery where you now have enough resources and you have the means to do something that you're passionate about, which makes you fulfilled. But until you're at stage 3, the stage of mastery, where you are embarking on a path where you're passionate and you're doing something that fulfills you, stage 1 and stage 2, eliminate passion, eliminate the need for fulfillment, hustle through the first 2 stages, and in stage 3, you will be presented the opportunity to do whatever you want to do whatever you desire, 100%. But you have to gain the skill, you have to trade the time for money, and you have to stack your resources in the early stages. 21. The best way to cherish a moment is to be fully in the moment. Sometimes your brain doesn't always have to be on goal where you're thinking of the future. Sometimes you don't have to exist in the past where it's so shameful and guiltful and regretful. You can just be here. So when you're with somebody that you truly enjoy, just be with them, laugh with them, talk with them, eat a slice of cheesecake with them. Enjoy those moments because those are the moments you'll cherish because you cherish them. So just fully be immersed in the moment. Pay attention to the sound of the wind, the sun, the birds, and just be there. Those are the most beautiful moments, and they're meant to be cherished. 22. Distractions must be avoided during the building phase, and as a matter of fact, all throughout your life. Distractions are anything that pulls you away from the desired goal or outcome. If you want to get a lot of money, distractions will pull you away and make you spend money. If you want to play the long game, distractions will pull you away and make you desire short-term grabs and instant gratification. If you want to get in immense physical shape, distractions will come and make you break your diet and get you off track, off the pedal. Avoid the distractions, see when they're coming, fix them immediately. Otherwise, just like there are upward spirals, you can experience downward spirals, where one thing turns into 10 bad things. But again, one thing can also turn into 10 good things. That's the upward spiral. You can experience that as well. And you can increase the likelihood of you experiencing this upward spiral if you just remove distractions. 24. Stress is a byproduct of living. You don't need a damn therapist. You don't need a therapist because life is just lifing. Yes, you're stressed. Yeah, you're anxious. Yes, you're scared that it's not going to work out. You don't know if you can feel the shoes. Yes, hey, welcome to life. It's completely normal. Yes, you and 8 billion other people. Yes. Yes. You don't need a therapist. This is life. I don't know where we were taught that stress and all this is an indication that something's wrong with us. We're feeling things that humans just feel. It's normal. But what isn't normal is, will you let it be a hindrance? If you let it be a hindrance, it's not necessarily normal. It's damaging. So the goal is for you to accept these things and say, these things won't hinder my growth. They won't cap me. I just accept them as they are. Yeah, I'm stressed right now. Yes, I might be anxious about this. Maybe this is tough. Maybe I don't know how to feel the shoes. Maybe I am scared nothing's going to work out. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Welcome to life. It is normal. Accept that it's normal. You don't need a damn therapist. You are the best therapist that you have. 25. Fix the messed up parts of yourself so that you don't end up hurting anyone. When I was younger, I didn't fix certain parts of myself, and I got into relationships, and I hurt a lot of women, man. I hurt them, not physically, but emotionally. I tore them up, and I can just imagine if my whole life I didn't fix those parts of me, how my children will be. What about my wife? What would she have to go through? So, if you know there are messed up parts about yourself, it's your job to really work on them, fix them. If you have a short fuse and you get angry quick, fix it. If you hate people, fix it. If you're always serious, hey, lighten up a little bit, cheer up. There are things about you that are incomplete that still need to be worked on. The point of working on them is so that you don't end up causing more pain. You don't add to the body of pain. And you don't end up taking all that hurt and just pushing it on somebody else. 26. We are never complete. We will always keep growing. You can be 80 and you'll still learn. At 81, you'll be better than you were at 80. We're never done. We're going to keep growing and we're going to keep learning. When we learn, it's because we experience. I stopped using age as a metric to track intelligence a long time ago. Age just means that you've existed on this planet longer, which may mean you've had the opportunity to experience more. When you experience something, you can learn only if you can visit the experience and take and pull the lesson from there. Once you learn something, that is what we call wisdom. And so, if we follow that cycle, sure, maybe age does result in wisdom, but not everyone has the intelligence or the skill to reflect and visit an experience and pull that lesson from there. You only become wise when you can pull a lesson from something. That is what wisdom is. So, since we're always going to keep growing, always keep learning, it's our job to revisit experiences so that we can become wiser, so that we can teach other people. We're going to die. Just take whatever you have, all the lessons you've learned, the wisdom you've gained, and then make it easier for the next generation, the next people coming up. Because you remember how tough it was for you, and there is a little boy, little girl in your exact shoes that may need a helping hand right now, and you know exactly what to say to make them feel less alone. We're always going to keep growing. Embrace it. Take that growth, learn the lessons, obtain the wisdom, spread it, and share it. 27. Blaming people does absolutely nothing for you at all. When I was able to say everything in my life was my fault, I finally gained a little bit of power. I'm sure, and at the time, I could have blamed everyone for why my life was screwed up. I could have blamed my lack of resources, my upbringing, my father, my mother, my this. People didn't believe in me, this. I didn't have support. I could have blamed them all, and I did, and I had no power. I'm sure you can blame everyone in your life. I'm sure you could write a whole paragraph, a whole essay, a whole thesis on why your life is screwed up because of your uncle, because of your cousin, your niece, your nephew, your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister. I'm sure you can. But that doesn't give you any power, nor does it change anything. Change comes when power returns back to the source. You are the source. Power has to return back to you. You take this power and you say, now I finally have control over where my life goes moving forward. If Uncle Tom is the reason why you're screwed up because Uncle Tom said something to you when you were younger, that means Uncle Tom will always be the reason why you can never grow, because anytime you try to grow, you're like, oh wait, I can't grow because I'm screwed up because of Uncle Tom. If you just say, well, even though Uncle Tom said that to me, I refuse to let that affect me in this way, and so I'll grow. Everything in your life is your fault. Point the blame finger here, right? Redirect it to yourself. Give the power back to yourself. This lets you take action moving forward. 28. Be patient with people. Not everyone's where you're at. I have a lot of intelligent people that watch my channel. Some of you guys are young. Hey, be patient with the old people. They're not where you're at. And hey, all my older people, be patient with the young people. They're not where you're at. Everyone is in different stages in life. Their life path is different than yours. Some of them might be walking the same path, but you may be further along. Or maybe you're further back. Who knows? But you have to be patient with someone. So when someone doesn't see what you see, understand what you understand, feel how you feel, act how you act, behave how you behave, just say it's okay. Similar to how if a newborn baby knocks over a vase, you don't scold it and scream at it. It's a newborn child. It doesn't know any better. So be patient with people. Sometimes they don't know any better. It's their ignorance that prohibits them from growing and understanding. To anyone intelligent here, the depth to which you understand is magnificent. It's great. You see the world through a different lens. You've unlocked a lens in which you can see the world that not a lot of people have unlocked. Be patient with people that have yet to open their eyes and reflect and become aware. It's okay. Everyone has their own path. If everyone was like you wouldn't be special because everyone acts like you, thinks like you, talks like you. Nothing about you would be special. What makes you special is that you're different. And what makes other people special is that they're different. You can always learn from them. 29. Growth is just as addicting as laziness. You just have to do the work long enough to see the results. That creates the addiction of growth. Similar to how laziness, what creates the addiction of laziness is the feeling we get from being lazy. Laziness, comfort, relax, joy, stimulants, chips, Netflix, beer, smoke, whatever. It's not laziness that's addicting, it's the feeling that comes from being lazy that's so addicting. Just as addicting, growth isn't necessarily addicting, is what comes as a result of growing that's so addicting. You grow, you start doing this, you start working out, you start getting money, you start reading more, you start learning, you start becoming a better human, you fix parts of yourself, you spiral upwards, and your life just changes. You see the world through a different lens. Every day you're full of energy and you're positive, and that is the addiction right there. So you can become addicted. You just have to do the work long enough for you to see results so that it builds this feeling where you don't want to be lazy. Because growth becomes way more addicting than being lazy. Feels better too. 30. You can occupy your time if you want to avoid all of your vices. Usually vices start like this. Free time, boredom. Boredom leads to laziness. Laziness leads to stimulation. Stimulation leads to vice. If you're bored, you're going to want to find something to occupy your time. But you're bored. So you'd rather just find a way to occupy your time and stimulate your mind by being lazy. Once you're lazy, you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, you find the easiest path towards stimulation. And that'll be your vice. Drinking, smoking, Netflix, binge scrolling. I don't care. If you want to just avoid all your vices, you just have to occupy your time. I guarantee you, whatever the heck you think your vice is, porn, masturbation, alcohol, weed, women, sex, Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I don't care what it is. I challenge you to occupy your time. If you occupy your time and do anything else, the room for you to engage with your vices completely becomes zero. So if you know that you will end up laying in bed watching Netflix, calling a girl over, having sex, drinking, and smoking, it's because you have time to do that. So if you just stay busy, you literally negate the possibility of that ever happening because you build like a wall. And there's a boundary now that you can't cross because it's like, oh, too busy. So just occupy your time, and you will, as a result, as a byproduct of occupying your time, you will avoid your vices. 31, assume that you're dumber than everyone else. You can always learn from someone doing better than you, but it's our own ego that restricts us from learning from people doing better than us because we think we're so good. Hey, cut that ego out. Grab that ego, throw it in the damn trash. It doesn't matter. Anyone can teach you something. You may be great at what you do. Be humble because you never know who can humble you. Either you humble yourself and accept the teaching from somebody, or you be egotistical and you will soon find out that someone can teach you something and you'll just be mind blown. You never know who can teach you something. No matter how old they are, no matter where they are in their journey, they can say something that maybe you didn't think of. Have an open mind. Don't assume that you're that good. When you assume that you're good, there is no room for growth because you think you're maxed out. When you assume that there is growth to experience and you're not fully developed and that you're actually dumb, then there's a lot of room for growth. So you can welcome a lot and add to the body of knowledge. But if you assume that you know it all and you're this and this, okay, you're maxed out. No one can teach you nothing. You are closed. Sorry. You can't pour into a full cup. It'll just spill. 32. The only person that matters is future you. Do things for that person. Dress for that person. Speak for that person. Work out for that person. Do things for that person to benefit that version of you in the future. That's the one person that truly matters. It's you. Not now, but in the future. Assuming that you'll live to see that version of you, which you probably will. And if you don't, it doesn't matter anyways because you're long gone. Do things for that version of you. Whatever that version of you would appreciate, do it. If that version of you would appreciate you building a routine, do it. If that version of you would appreciate you getting in shape now so that they don't have some type of illness in the future, then do it now. Work out now, get in shape now, go run, go exercise. If that version of you would appreciate you giving it your all now so that version of you can enjoy success and enjoy life, then work hard now. Do things for that person to benefit that person. Last one, 33. Let go of the need for approval and external validation. There is no reason for you to try to impress the people that you don't want to be like in any way, shape, or form. There's no need. If you don't want to be like them, you definitely don't need to try to impress them. Don't buy the car and drive it around so you can get this external validation and approval amongst your peers. Don't get the Gucci bag. Don't get the designer flip flops and all this stuff and the fancy clothes just to impress people. Do things for you. Let go of this need for approval. You don't need this to seek external validation. Their opinion of you does not matter. And if it does matter, I'd say you don't know who you are. Nothing about their opinions truly matter because as long as you know who you are, you cannot be affected, nor will it boost your confidence or make you feel insecure because you are grounded. You have a stack of evidence to say that you are who you say you are. Just be you. Those were 33 lessons that I wish I learned a lot sooner. It would have helped me in my life. I hope it helps you because it sure as hell would have helped me when I was younger. That's all I got.